Welcome to Your Daily Boost 365, our podcast. And I am Erica Vessel, and this is my dear friend, Tex Roy Elliott. And today we are going to talk about being resilient. But before we get into that, I want to introduce my friend to you. So he is an amazing entrepreneur. And I always tell him that he is the smartest person that I know. He has like this gift with these magical words. And that's really how our book came to be, because I think he's so smart. And he has a way of getting you to think about life situations and just take action. So welcome, Tex Roy.
Bless up, bless up. Well, thanks for the kind words. Most
You're welcome.
important, because them is kind words, very kind words. Uh
And
oh,
we're going
but
to
we
talk.
want to introduce
You want to
boss
introduce
lady
me?
Erica, you know, Erica Vassal. Okay, so you all know Erica. Boss, of course, kind, loving, entrepreneur, and a businesswoman overall. Intelligent businesswoman, let me tell you. All right, so
Listen, with this resilience thing, you and I in our life, right? In our lives, we've had to be resilient. Well, we had a choice. We didn't have to be, right? But we chose to be resilient. And that's how we got to where we are now. So, you know, I don't know what you want to share about the resilience in your life, or the things that you have said to yourself, the self talk, or what you've done. How have you been able to overcome obstacles and remain positive?
well, it's something just like you said earlier. It wasn't wrong. Sometimes you have to be resilient.
Mhm.
Sometimes have to be. Oh, how I overcome that?
Yeah.
Mm, I just always got to know that first person I got to be strong for is me.
Hmm.
So whatever obstacle in my way, I look at how I can solve the problem. How can I solve the problem? That's the
Mm.
first thing I look at. So when I look into that, then I start looking at the reality, because we have to look at reality. We as human, part of the biggest problem, we don't accept reality. Once you accept that, it takes you a long way when it comes to solving problems.
Mhm.
So for me, I know that, all right, I got to be these ways that I just say, because if I can't help me, I can't help my kids, I can't help my mom, I can't help my girlfriend, I can't help my brothers, nothing. Feel me? So you have to always be strong for you first. You could be
Mhm.
strong for others.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know what? Can I say something? So, like
of
on the
course,
airplane, on the airplane, they always say, like, when the mask comes down and you're with children, you have to put the mask on you first, the oxygen mask, and not put on the kids first, right? So that you can be strong and take care of them. So, we always have to think about that. So many times I think,
excellent point. That's exactly
hey,
what I'm talking about. That's an excellent point.
there you go.
Good, very good point.
So many of us like try to fix everybody else, and then we forget about ourselves, or forget about being strong for ourselves,
Mhm.
and it's a crazy cycle.
It can be draining. So
Yes.
it's about being smart, smart ways to do things. Always try to do it the smart way, just make things easier.
When I was going through a hard time, right? And you were helping me, right? To be resilient, or I was on the road to that, but I got a little road bump in the way, right? And you had to help me to see. And I think that a lot of times people, what do they say? You can't see the forest through the trees. Like, they're in a situation and they don't know what to do, and then they're like stuck, and they can either go forward, stay where they are, or go backwards, right? Like, they don't have to be resilient. But you and I always seem to choose this resilience. And I'm wondering, is it the way we're made? Is it because we seek positivity? We don't want bad stuff in our lives. What do you think it is?
I think it's both those words. I think is that we
Mhm.
positive people. So that helps a lot. And what else did you just say?
If we were born this way.
Exactly. And I think some of that has to do with it, definitely, because you look around, you see some people just strong, some people just weak. Common sense. I mean, it says common sense, but everybody don't use it the same, honestly. And that's your best sense you can have. So some
Yeah.
of us just use common sense different from others. Yeah.
Well, can I
Huh?
say something about that? Because sometimes when we're in a situation, we can't even use common sense. We're so wrapped up in the what ifs and the what's going to happen and blah,
Hold
blah,
up,
blah.
hold up. I don't. 1 second there. Hold up. You said we can't use common sense.
Okay.
Hold up. Let me tell you. Listen, I have to. I normally don't disagree, but let me tell you. When we listen, that's your best sense. You can go to college, learn all this stuff. If you don't know how to use common sense to put that together, let me tell you, you have to always use common sense. I swear to you. I believe in common sense.
Okay. But
Yes. Go ahead though. My
okay.
bad. I just I couldn't let that pass.
I know. Okay. Well, let me say this. Sometimes we are so wrapped up in emotion that we are lacking using the common sense. We are missing that part.
Very
We're
true.
missing the simple part of, you know, truly looking at the situation. Like you said, you know, what can I do about this? How can I problem solve? How can I be strong for myself? Sometimes we're in a situation and we're just so emotional that we're forgetting. How about that? To use
My
common sense.
my bad on that. My bad, and you're perfectly right. I should have waited till you finish. I jumped the gun. Yeah,
That's okay. That was good
very
what you
true.
said. But you know, because there's so many times that you and I are talking, right? And you're like, wait a minute. So let's look at this and let's use common sense. And then I'm like, oh. And you're like, see, you spend time worrying about that for nothing. So, you know, I think sometimes we get stuck. And that's why maybe some people aren't resilient because they're stuck and they don't know the words to say. They don't have like a best friend like we have each other. They don't have someone where they can turn to. So we need to teach them now. Okay, so you told them that they have to look at the problem. You have to be strong for yourself. What can you do about it? Right.
Right.
But then what? You just handle the
No,
business.
it's really that simple. To me, the first and the best way of solving a problem is look at the reality aspect first.
Right.
Then once you look at the reality aspect, you know, okay, can I do something about it or can I do nothing about it?
Right.
In this
That's
world, not every problem you can solve. You can try, but you
that's
can't solve every problem. So now that's where the reality comes in now, in the common sense. So you're like, all right, so I can't fix that. So I have to just leave it alone. But if you can, the key is to give it 100%. So
right.
once you give it that 100% on trying to fix the problem, more than likely it'll be fixed.
Mhm.
But if it can't fix, then you can't do nothing about it. You got to move on. But a lot of us, we get caught up and stuck in this one
Yes.
thing and let it take up our brain space when we could be doing something else, you know?
Yes. Yes, that's key. I would say that is so
Yes.
key because
Yeah.
when you're like, if you can't do anything about it, move on. And how many people just keep going and going and going, like beating a dead horse? And then they waste all this time. Time is so precious and energy trying.
Yes.
And they missed out on all of these great things that could happen in their lives because their energy
Exactly.
was
Right.
focused.
That's true. And a
Mm.
lot of times, some people, get stuck and they don't realize and that is bringing them down because they just using their brain space on this one thing and it becomes stress. When it
Oh.
becomes stress,
Oh, the
you
Dexter
fighting a
hates this.
losing battle.
This you hate that S word.
Yeah, I don't like that word.
Stress.
I don't like that word at all. Because it's most times it's not even worthless stress. And we all know what stress do. That's like
Oh,
if not the number one killer, second killer in the world.
yes.
And a lot of us time, us humans, stress is because we don't face reality and we scared of certain things. So instead of we just take on the problem bravely, we using fear.
Oh,
And
that's the
sometimes
F
it don't
word.
add up to be fearful of certain things or to be fearful at all, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. It just
Yes.
don't add up because whatever will be, you know?
Mhm.
You just
That's
gotta keep a clean heart and do what you doing, be
yeah.
positive. So once
Yeah.
you got a clean heart and you being positive, anything else, hey, at least you won't feel bad at all, you know,
Yeah.
because you being positive, you doing the right thing.
Right.
Always do the right thing.
What you said about fear, um, is so true, because I think that so many people, when I was talking about they beat a dead horse, they're going after this thing, trying to fix it, whatever. It's the fear of failure. They don't want to let go because they think they failed, and they don't realize, like, not everything's meant to be, right? You just said whatever's meant to be will be, but not everything's meant to be, right? So if they're going after this thing and they're so afraid of failing that they keep focusing on it, they can't be resilient. They can't get up and go to the next thing, right? And that it's just sucking up their time, and it's making them stressed. And you know, my favorite saying is stress will take your beauty away, right? So
That's a fact.
yeah, so many people are just, you know, focused on things that aren't serving them, and they don't know how to let go. They just don't know how to let go.
Let me hear you tell them how.
You how? Well, you have to tell yourself positive thoughts. You have to tell yourself positive thoughts. You have to face the reality of what it really truly is. Maybe you have to write it down on a piece of paper, like what's the truth versus what's the emotion. Because so many times we're focused on the emotional aspect and we just can't even see what's really happening. I remember one time we had this conversation. I was so worked up on, like, probably I was crying. And like, whoa. Wait, what can really happen? Like what no, you know, think about that. Think about like what can really happen. And then I was like, oh yeah. You know, you're right. So I think maybe we have to write things down or say it out loud, or talk to someone and say, this is what I'm worked up about. And then let that person show you, yo, that's not really what can happen. You're focused on the wrong thing. That's what I think. What?
Right. We all do it.
Yeah.
So,
Even
but the
text,
more we do it, the more we learn. Okay, so we learn in life,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how to do things, differently. But I don't
Yes.
believe in getting worked up at most time. I just believe in just staying calm and just living good.
For some of us, though, when we hear words, they can replay in our brain and replay like a tape recorder. I'm dating myself. You know,
Mm.
rewind, play. And sometimes it's hard to not let that change you. So I think, and that's when you have to have those positive words to replace the negative words, though, don't you think? Or what do you do? Because you don't let any of this stuff affect you. Unlike me, who has to work hard every day.
Mm. I call my mom, but
Oh,
not to. I mean, just to talk to her to get a opinion, because sometimes you want to know if you're making the right decision. And ain't nobody going to lead you wrong when it comes to mom. Anybody else will, but only my mom could lead me in any direction. And she still can't lead me. But if she says something, I'll consider it. Like, okay, that doesn't mean I'm gonna agree, but I really respect her opinion. Feel me?
yes.
Just like I respect yours. To
Oh,
be honest, like
they're
I
good.
value yours as well. You feel me?
Thank you.
So it's
Yeah.
not that many people that I go to when I
Yes.
do have issues. I just look into it. Like, all right,
Yeah.
can I fix it?
Mhm.
Or can I fix it? If I can fix it, I'll make sure I give it 100%. That
Right.
means you tried. And that's all you gotta do. Give it your best. Not
Yeah.
even try, do it.
You
We
know,
don't even use the word try too much.
that's
Do it.
right. Just do it.
Yeah,
You like
do
Nike,
it.
just do
Give it
it.
100%. You know? But if
Yes.
you can't, you have to be smart about okay, leaving it alone. Move
Mm,
on.
yes.
Right?
You know,
That's how it is.
I'll be vulnerable and I'll say that's one of the hardest things, as you know, for me, right? Is to let something go. And you know, I I would say, well, what if, but what if, but what if, but what if? And as
Mm-mm.
I've learned, like, to really think about the situation as to like what's really happening, what can I do about it, how is it going to serve me if I keep focusing on it, and all that emotion, that has been a game changer for me, is and how I've been able to let so many things go. And I
Oh, you
don't,
on another level.
I'm like a
It wa-
video game. Whoop, whoop, I'm on the next level.
That's good when you that you can say that because that means if you ain't even there, you very close.
Yes.
It's good to be that way.
Thank you.
What you just said is good to be that way, in my opinion.
Thank
You
you.
can solve problem
Yes. I'm trying.
easier.
Well, I shouldn't say trying. I'm as I say to you, I'm a work in progress. Every day I
When
do a little bit more.
excuse, it's not sorry about that. When you can listen, in to me, what you saying, you can accept and move on, or you feel me?
Yeah,
That's good. All right, sorry about that. I just want to
that's okay.
clarify what I was specifically talking about. Go ahead though. My
That's,
bad.
no, you're fine. You're fine.
To sum it up, that's what it is. It's the emotion part,
Mhm.
When you can learn, when you learn how to control your emotions, you ahead in life. Trust
Yes.
me, because
Yes.
emotion, it. So that's why what you're saying is exactly how we go. And
Mhm.
like, but as I was saying, if you some women know how to use their common sense good, so they can see things like, all right, so and they just face it that way.
Mhm.
Feel me? But
Yeah.
some, soon as certain things, they'll get in their emotions and it
Right.
clouds their thoughts. You feel me?
That was
So they
me.
can't. They only want to look at their reality aspect.
That was
I
me.
don't know. I'm laughing because I find these that thing kind of funny.
You
A
know
person to
it's
see
why
the
you're
reality, and if you try to talk to him about the reality, they have even more fit. They some people. That's why you got different type of friends in the world. No, seriously. So you have some friends. They'll tell you what you want to hear. Then you have some friends. They'll tell you how it go. You feel me? But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to respect that friend that's giving the reality. Like, listen,
Yes.
this is how it go. So you
Yeah.
got some friends, they want to temporarily let you feel good.
Mhm.
Nah, deal with reality. And it's always how a person gives you reality. Like, okay,
Yeah, that's how they
you
say
know,
it. But
yes,
also,
how they say. It's true.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
how it's always how you do things in
Yes.
life, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yes.
Always how you do things.
All right, guys, we have told you a lot about being resilient. And as you start listening to our podcast, you'll learn more and more about Texroy and I and all the things we've been through. And that's made us the people that we are today. And all we want to do is help even just one person, whether you want to start a business, whether you just want to be the best version of yourself. So if you want to learn more about our other podcasts, our book, our journal, go to yourdailyboost365.com and we'll see you in another episode. Do you have something that you want to say before we end?
Me and Erica is here. We be
That's
trying to help as much as we can.
mhm.
So we know what words do. Words run the world.
That's
And
right.
we've been through things. We've been bosses for damn near all our life.
Yes.
We had ups and downs, so we know how it feels to be up. We know how it feels to be down.
Yep.
So we're gonna help some people that's trying to find their way. You know,
Yes.
right?
I can't
Next
top
time.
that. See you next time. Bye.